Hi, this is Numeric Citizen. In today's video, I'm giving you a guided tour of two of my custom-built web app, an RSS reader, and a bookmark manager. Let's get started. But before jumping into those two guided tours of my web apps, I want to tell you why I have built those. You probably don't know that I'm hosting and maintaining a newsletter called the Ephemeral Scrapbook, and this newsletter is actually a collection of links and things that I'm finding on the web that I want to talk about and comment about. And you can see here that I have many different editions of this newsletter, and the way I'm building this newsletter is that I'm bookmarking a lot of stuff that I'm reading on the net, and I need a tool to have a way to save those bookmarks. I used to use Pocket, which now I think it's no longer available. And after that, I went to use AnyBox, which is a native Mac app, which also runs on the iPad and the iPhone. The only problem with AnyBox is that there is no web version of this app. And I think it is something that is missing. And this is where a lot of people will tell me that you can use Raindrop instead, which also offer a web app. But I don't like Raindrop, and so I have built my own bookmark manager. The bookmark manager is really at the center of how I'm putting together this newsletter, and so that's why I needed a way to save bookmarks and manage those over time. So that's why I decided to use Claude Code to build these web app. There's also another one that is really central to my experience, is that I'm using also an RSS reader and iKnowReader as a RSS service. But I know that there are many clients to iKnowReader, and one of my favorite one is Reeder, R-E-E-D-E-R. But there is no web version of that, and I don't always like iKnowReader web reader. And so I have built my own RSS reader web app so that both my bookmark manager and my RSS reader can work together to help me build this newsletter. And this is exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. Let's start with a guided tour of my RSS reader, which I called RSS Flow, because the principle of this reader is to present a list of articles coming from websites that I like to follow. And so the articles are presented like a river. So I wanted to use that as the main way of consuming my articles from my RSS sources. So this is the main view that you are currently seeing. There's a dot on the left tells me about the reading status of the article, the category of the article, the time the article was published, the source, the author, depending of the source, and there's the title of the article. If there is no title from an article, then there's a quote of the content of the article itself. You can see here there is a banner that says that there is 2 new articles since the last refresh of this web page. The refresh is 15 minutes. I can change that to 60 minutes. If I tap on that, then you will see new articles coming up down the river. I can select to see 24 hours, 3 days back in time, which will trigger a refresh. I can select to see the last week. So let's go back to this view here. As you can see, there's a few articles that I have already read, so I can hide those and make the list more compact. I can also categorize or have a set of RSS sources coming for different purposes. This one is more personal oriented, much about Apple and tech in specific to Apple, but there is also a view that I call IT World, which is more related to my work. And so that's why you will see Hacker News, Tech Meme, and other sources. If I go back to a personal, there is a statistics panel I can show here. Tells me how many articles I read today in a 24-hour time span, how many articles are left unread, and the read rate of this reading experience. You can see all the top feeds, the categories that I'm reading the most, and so that's pretty nice to have. I can also filter based on only Apple, only blog, for example, or only tech. So that's super nice to be able to filter out those entries. I can also change the refresh rate, like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 60 minutes. I can force a refresh. I can switch to dark mode. I can come back to light mode. And I can change the way this content is displayed. There's this default view. There's this view, which is more like a bunch of cards. And there is also another one, which is more grouped by sources. And also there's this one, which is more close to a newspaper style or front page that I like a lot. So I can go back to this. So when I'm reading an article, let's say I want to open this one here, I can click on that. It will open the website itself, but I can also open a stripped down version. If I go here in this little icon, you will see it is extracting only the text. So I don't have any ads and stuff like that. And you will see at the top, depending on the length of the text, there will be an AI summary automatically generated. And also some key quotes that I can use for other purposes. One of that is to be able to copy that quote into my newsletter. And to do that, there's one way. It's to just click on this little icon on the right. This one goes to a different web app, which I'll show you later. So I can bookmark those in my bookmark manager if I see fit. I can copy this link here, I can bookmark from here, I can go to the website and dismiss this view, and you will see that the article has been removed from my list of articles to read. So it's very basic, very simple, and to manage is very simple too. I click on this little gear icon there, and I will see a feed management where I can enter the feed URL, give it a category, which is either Apple, blog, and tech. I can put it in a different view, either in the IT world, which is, again, more professionally oriented, and this is the personal one. I can give it a category color, and you will see all the feeds that I'm currently monitoring and that is feeding my, my view. I can get a notification if I want to put a focus on one of specific feed. I can delete it, I can change the title. So it's very, very, very simple management. I can export that in a OPML file if I want to import that into another RSS reader. I can change the font if I want to see a different style like this one. So it's very flexible, and not all my feeds are into this web app. I'm only using like the best sources that I like to follow, like my blog role, I would say. So this is exactly what this is showing me. So that's the RSS Flow web app. And then now I'll show you the bookmark manager, and I'll come back to this RSS Flow and see how I can, from one application, send information to the other one. Now with my bookmark manager, this is the initial view that you are seeing. On the left is a filtering option. This is a filtering sidebar. On the top, you can see that I can search my bookmarks. There is a sorting order, date added, the title, last updated, date added. There is a 3 different views that I can select. I'll show you that later. The use of the font that I want to use for the user interface display, the dark mode is supported, and there is this admin panel that I'll show you later. The basic idea here is to be able to easily get new bookmarks added into this web app. There is this plus sign here where I can, let's say I want to have the Apple website. I don't think I have the right keyboard right now. Okay, so let's say I have apple.com. If I press tab, it will fetch the title of the website. I can enter a description. I can enter a comment about this bookmark. I can start this bookmark, and then also I can simply assign a tag to this bookmark. Let's say I want to tag it as a company related bookmark. I'll click on that, and from there I can assign none or one or more keywords to this. And since this is a company and this is Apple in particular, I can click on that, and then I'll be able to save this bookmark like this, and it will go at the top. Each bookmark gets some meta information fetched from the web. If I go in this view here, you will see that it kind of is extracted the main page, and it sees like a 3-minute read experience. And there is this logo here, which is the original image of the website. If I click on that, you will see at the bottom, the thumbnail for this website. Some website will generate a real thumbnail, like for example, this one here. There's the first header or hero image that comes from the website itself. I can also see that there is a article content about 6 minutes in length to read, like 1,000 word. I can click on the little read here, and I'll be able to see the content of this bookmark. There is a much better reading experience that I'll show you later, but this is something that I can see here from this view. There is a link status, where sometimes over time many bookmarks might become broken. If there is a broken bookmark, I will see here a live or broken status shown in this section, and some date related information about when this bookmark was either added, updated, or created. Most of my bookmarks were exported from AnyBox in a JSON file and then imported into this web app. And then since then, I dropped AnyBox, and now I'm only using this bookmark manager to do all my stuff. You saw that there's a compact view here, and it is paginated. You can see that I can flip the pages across all those bookmarks. There's this view also, which is a card view, and that will put the header image more emphasis on that. So it's a pretty nice view, but my preferred one is the default one, which is this view, where I'll see the tags and the keywords assigned to each of those. You will see that some bookmarks have more than many keywords assigned. It's simply because if I click on this bookmark, for example, you can see that the content has been extracted here, and from there, in the tags, a keyword section, there is a tags with AI. The app will look at the text and try to find references to companies, services, and products, so that it's easy for me later on to be able to filter out all the bookmarks related, like for example, TikTok, there's this one, or related to Uber, again, this one. So it's very simple for me to, I don't spend too much time keywording my bookmarks. It's all done automatically with the help of AI. So that's the bookmarks view. It's very nice. I really love that. It's a much cleaner design if you compare that to Raindrop. Really, it's really nice, and I love it. The description here is something that will be used when I import some selected bookmarks and use that in my newsletter. This is a very critical field here, and here this is a comment that I can create myself manually, or I can ask AI to summarize this bookmark and save that into the comment field. So let's say I want to summarize some other articles. Let me find something that might be interesting to summarize, like this one here. So this is an article about Microsoft telling the users that Windows 11 is not good and they should work harder to improve and fix long-standing issues related to stability and all that stuff. So I'll see here, this is the article that has been extracted, and I can ask to summarize this article. And after a few seconds, I'm using Claude AI for that. The cheapest model, I think it's IQ or something like that. So this is the summary, always structured the same way. And this is a Markdown formatted summary. So if I want to see that in a more clean way, and of course I can copy and paste that into any Markdown supporting application for whatever use I want. So it's really simple to do that. And if I want to see and tag this with some tags, you will see that it will assign a few of those, and all the keywords that are not created, they will be created on the fly. So it's really very handy. For some reason, there is no images on this that is available from this bookmark, so it's okay. Click save on that, and then you will see that now I have all the keywords assigned and the tags. So that's pretty much the general idea. Of course, I can see here all the broken links. I can see the redirected links, if any of those, and if I have any bookmarks that has not been checked for link status. Usually when I save a new bookmark, it will be checked on at save time. So I can clear that filter. I can work with that here to resize the sidebar. This is the bookmarks view. I can now switch to the quotes view. The quotes view is very nice too, which the same things apply. You can star a quote, I can tag that quote, I can assign keywords on that, and also you will see later I can assign a specific quote to a newsletter edition. So those are the quotes that I'm currently having in my bookmark manager. There's not a lot, there is 14 of those. And you will see that some of those quotes, there is a tag here, which is a special tag because it is a edition, newsletter edition that was assigned to that quote. It means that this quote was selected to be part of this edition of the newsletter. It's the same for bookmarks. If I go on the bookmarks view here, you will see that some of the icons at the right, this little newspaper icon, purplish, you will see that again the same pill as is shown here, because it means that this bookmark has been assigned to this newsletter also. So that's very nice to be able to see what is being used and what is not used yet in any newsletter. So I go back to the quote, I can search, I can filter out the same way I can do on the bookmarks view. And then there's the newsletter view. And the newsletter view is very nice too, because it helps me prepare a new edition of a newsletter. Like the one that I'm going to publish today is still a work in progress. If I click on that one, you will see on the right all the bookmarks and quotes that has been selected to go in this edition. I can sort by tags here, and you will see that there is this one here, the Apple in Tech. There's also this one, apps and services, and this one, discoveries, and so on and so on. Those keywords correspond to the newsletter sections that you saw earlier in this video. So it's easy for me to, when I'm exporting that in a Markdown file and import that in Craft, because my newsletter is built on Craft, it's easy for me to arrange all the content in specific sections just by dragging things around within Craft editor. So it's very handy. If I want to remove that sort and see all the content selected for this, I can see here that in my previous edition, if I click on that, those were selected too. And as you can see, when I'm done with that, I'll click on this little checkbox here, check mark, to mark it as published, and then I will be able to create a new edition and then start again assigning new content to this edition. So it's very, very something that I couldn't do easily with AnyBox. Probably could do that in Raindrop though, but I really prefer this UI because it's mine. I can change it whatever I want, and it's very, very nice. You can see that there is a copy here. It's copying this quote using the copy button. It will create a bookmark, a markdown version of this quote. The same goes for any bookmarks in this view. I can copy that and paste whatever I want. Of course, this one here from Apple, I can go at the bottom and delete. There's a nice confirmation at the bottom. Yes, I want to delete that one. And then there's the admin panel, which is super important for me because there's a lot of stuff going on here. On the manage panel, on the left panel, there is the statistics where I have that many bookmarks in the database, that many quotes. There's a tags cloud, which tells me which one is the most used. As you can see, I came from Pocket, and then those bookmarks were imported a long time ago in AnyBox, and then now they are in my bookmark manager. There is a newsletter section. How many bookmarks are in any newsletter editions? How many bookmarks are not in any editions? Quotes, the same thing, and the bookmark age, which, as you can probably guess, sometimes we save a lot of stuff, but we never use it. And this is kind of the proof that this is right now happening. I can run the check right there, or I can go in the link health status and then again run the check, and it will start a job and it will check the link status. I can manage the tags. You can see that there is a hierarchy where the ephemeral scrapbook has many child tags that are corresponding to the sections that I'm using in Craft to create this newsletter. And the keywords the same. There's a bunch of keywords. As you can see, there's a number of bookmark that has been used for all of those keywords. The thumbnail, I can ask to regenerate or try to fetch a newer version of the thumbnail to be presented in this view here on the right, or in this view if some thumbnails needs to be updated. This is something that I can do. The article here is simply the content of extracted text from the bookmarks when it's possible. As you can see, there is 21 that have content that has been fetched from the source. The reason for that is because this feature has been implemented recently, and I could just try to fetch the missing, and it will start to fetch all the content and then save that into the database, and the counters here will then reflect that. The AI keywords that has been generated from articles with content. I can import and export those bookmarks. So if anything goes wrong, I can export all the content of my database for me to move it around if I want to be able to do that. And I can reset the database. If I want to start fresh and erase everything, this is something that I can do. But I must say that I did use that a few times when I first started to build this app, but now I don't see how I would need to do that, but it's there in any case if I want to use that. Now it's the time for you to see how I'm making both web apps, the RSS Flow reader and this bookmark manager, work together. I kind of forgot two important things about this bookmark manager. The first one was that, as you saw in the mode, there's a quote mode where I can see all the quotes, but there's also a read view where I can see all the articles that are available for me to read. And this is the most recent one, and I can go to all the different articles just by using the keyboard left and right keys, and then from there I can read. And then for some articles you'll see AI summary section that I can pull up here, and it will display me the AI summary in a structured way. So that's very nice, and it was very important for me to be able to read right from within the bookmark manager. If I go back to the list, the other thing that we didn't see here is that when I'm creating a new newsletter, I go there, newsletter, I can create test edition here like that. And then from there, I can go back in the bookmarks. If I want to assign this one to this test edition, I can just select that, and then boom, it will be added to this edition. As you can see here in that edition here. I have only this one right now. So that's the way I'm assigning each quotes and bookmarks to any edition of my newsletter. Now, what if I want to use one of my bookmarks or one of my quotes, create a link post from that quote? In this quotes view, I can click on this button here, post, and it will bring me the microblog poster interface. From there, I'll be able to write a link post right there by hitting like this is so through, and then just by selecting the categories and all that stuff and hit publish here, I'll be able to create a link post right from my bookmark manager. It's very cool. Now, suppose I'm reading my RSS feed articles and I want to save a bookmark from there. As you can see here, in my RSS Flow application, I can tap on that again to update the feed river. And then from there, if I want to save something into my bookmark, this here, let's say I open that and I like this, I can just click this button here. It will bring me this save bookmark window, and then I'll be able to fill in the blanks, and then it will go into my bookmark manager. The same goes for if I want to like take this one here, I can do the same with a key quote. If I want, I can just bookmark this quote, and it will bring me the bookmark manager quotes view where I can save this into the quotes database in my bookmark manager. So this is how my RSS reader is integrated with my bookmark manager. But if I want to create a link post from this and post on my blog this quote, I can just click on this little icon here, and then it will bring me again the same UI I showed you earlier in the video, where I can create a link post from there, add my comment, and then hit publish from this UI. Again, this is another integration between my RSS reader and my microblog poster web application, which is super nice. Now, a few more comments about those two web apps. So I started from there using iKnowReader RSS Reader. I'm still using it, but I'm using a different front end to that. And the synchronization doesn't happen between my web app and iKnowReader. The application itself has its own data persistence mechanisms. So this is separate from the RSS Reader. And I went from AnyBox to the other web application. So now it becomes like this. I have this RSS reader, as you saw, and the bookmark manager. Both are working together so that I can feed my newsletter creation process. Now the technology, I built those with Claude AI, Claude Code. I did a lot of vibe coding. I did, the first one was the RSS reader, and then I created the bookmark manager because the latter one is much more complex to implement. I did a lot of iterations to make that work, and it is running on Versal, which is a SaaS offering. And for data persistence and other services like creating the thumbnails, saving the data, doing some AI stuff, it's invoking the Anthropic SDK for summarization and taggings of articles, and also using some Redis database and also some blob storage available. And the fun thing is, the interesting thing is, all that stuff is running for free on Versal because it's very light applications. They don't use much space and they don't use much compute. So I'm really fitting in the free plan of Versal, which is super cool. So yeah, that's pretty much what I had to show you. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. I think it's a great example of using AI to build custom-made applications that is very close to your workflows, and how you can empower yourself by using AI and be more efficient at creating new stuff. I hope to see you again soon for another video. Thank you for watching until the very end, and see you guys for another one soon.